Hello everyone, I'm Rick Janzen. Welcome to my fly bench. Here on Vancouver Island, we are blessed to have hundreds of rivers and streams that flow into the Pacific Ocean and Georgia Strait. They begin in Victoria and run up the east and west coasts of the island all the way to the top at Cape Scott. Many of these streams run right through our urban centers like in Nanaimo, Courtenay, and Campbell River. There are hundreds more that run through the wilderness and are rarely seen by a human. Many of these rivers have abundant runs of salmon, coho, chum, chinook, pink, and cutthroat and rainbow trout, and some with steelhead. The nature of our streams is such that they're fast-flowing and freestone. As such, you need a nymph or a pattern that gets down to the fish zone quickly. It has to be streamlined and heavily weighted. The pattern I've come up for you today is called the Island Prince. It's my version of the Prince nymph. Let's take a look at the materials you're going to need to tie it. Okay everyone, into the vise here I have a Mustad number 10 nymph hook. To that I've attached a 7/64 tungsten black nickel bead. Again, we're getting as much weight on this as we can. We want to get this thing down into the strike zone. And behind that I'm wrapping in a core about 10 wraps of lead wire. We really want to get this fly down, and this will help walk the bead forward. And we're going to get that wrapped on there. Tuck that in behind the bead. See if we can get some more wraps in before I break off the tag end. It's a little time consuming, but it's certainly worth it. These things, you notice the huge difference. If you're using just brass beads, you're not getting down far enough into the strike zone. The currents here are too swift, and they carry the fly away, up and away out of the fish's strike zone most of the time. And so the tungsten bead with the lead wire is the way to go if you want to fish our fast flowing streams for the trout here. I'm just trying to tuck those tag ends in there. Good. Now we're going to come in with our 8/0 black tying thread in behind, and we'll build up a dam behind that lead wire to hold it in place and lock that bead forward. Cut off our tag end, then bring our thread forward to the bead and then back again. The second function that lead does is it builds up a bit of a bulky thorax there. Helps give it some profile and some taper. Okay, now that we've got the lead wire locked in there, we're going to bring the thread back. Actually, we'll come back, I'm getting ahead of myself there, with our gold wire, our small gold wire, and we'll lay that down. That's going to form our rib. And I've got a piece of it pre-cut here, so we'll get that on there and bring it down the near side of the hook. Now we got that base of thread laid down there. It's time to bring in our 2 brown goose biots, and I like to just flick them like a deck of cards. Get 2 of them peeled off there, and then I'll cut the attached ends like that, just barely. Now you see they both have the curl in the same direction, so I'm going to turn one out so that the convex sides are towards each other. And yeah, these are fussy little things to handle, but they make a fine looking nymph. And once they're on the fly, they're quite durable because they're a sturdy material. Get that fixed together. There, we've got them both curled out there. So we're going to move our wire out of the way and get those lined up on there about
a little less than around half the hook length for a tail. Pinch them on there, give it a loose wrap, another one, and cinch them down. And there we go, we've got our goose biots in there. Now bring that back a little bit. I'm going to cut the tag ends of our biots off. I've got a different camera angle this time because of what I wanted to show you on this fly. And in comes, for the body, our micro crystal cactus, 0.8 millimeter from Canadian Lama. And I take a strand of that and I'll just strip the end off. This fly is often tied with peacock herl, but I find this is a little more robust. Stands up to the wear and tear of the river and the fish's teeth, and does a great job of giving it that iridescent green color that's so buggy. Now we're going to wrap that material forward. And there you go, we're getting that body, and again with the lead wire is going to give it a bit of that taper, that wider shoulder up in the thorax region. Tie that off. Make sure it's well secured, and then cut off the excess. We'll bring our rib forward at this time, and just about 3 or 4 wraps. Don't have to be overly particular about how many there are. You just don't want too many. So we'll capture that. Some behind, some in front, behind, in front. Make sure it's well captured and helicopter that out. There we go. Now the next thing is our orange goose biots. These are goose biots amber is what they call them. And again, like a deck of cards, I flick 2 of them off, peel them off of the stem, then just give the attached ends a little nip. Now we're going to bring these in one at a time, and I'll lay one down on the deck here. And so what I do is I bring it in on top of the fly, angled out, and give it a little nip behind the bead. Then I capture it with the thread, and we've got one wing in there. We'll do the same with the other side. Let's pick that one up. Bring it in the near side, about the same length as the other one. Hold it in place. Just a second. Make sure I have it the right way up, right way down. I want them both curled slightly down. There we go. Well, have a little trouble with that one. And then, yeah, that one's giving me some challenge there. Got a little wrinkle in it. I'm going to wrap this one in place first, there we go, before I give it a cut. Now we'll secure those well in place. I'm not worried about those tag ends on top. They don't make much of a bother. And a lot of these prince nymphs have a full hackle which they end up cutting off the top to expose these wings. I don't go that route. I didn't like the way that looked. So what I do is I just tie in a beard, and I turn the hook over in the vise, reverse it, and I take some partridge, just a little bit of partridge. I'll select a feather off of here, one of the lighter ones toward the base here, and take a few of these fibers off the partridge feather, and just enough to form a beard. There we go. Get that beard in there, we tuck it in, give it a loose wrap, cinch it down, and then cut off our tag ends. A little extra there. Turn our vise back over. A little extra fiber there that wants to stay. And now I'll give the thread a touch of super glue. What I'm actually using is Sally Hansen's Hard as Nails there, and I find that an excellent head cement. Wrap that in there and give it a wet finish. And that'll complete our island prints. This is a very heavy fly. It'll get down to the bottom. It's very streamlined, and it produces fish. Nobody knows exactly what it's supposed to represent, but it doesn't matter. The trout take it with relish. There you go, your island prints, tied with the micro cactus chenille and the goose biots. Hope you enjoyed that. If you did, please consider subscribing if you haven't already, and you can feel free to share this video with your friends. Wishing you good luck on our island streams. Take care, everybody. Thanks for watching.